"I'm sorry, Mr. Grant. We can't approve this." Tyler Grant sits very still, Maya's hand tightening in his under the desk. "How is that even possible? I've never missed a payment on anything in my life." The loan officer doesn't look unkind saying it. She turns the screen slightly, as if that might help. "That's actually the problem. You don't have anything on file to have missed. I'm Ryan. This is Wealth Maps. And this is the story of a man who did everything he thought responsible looked like, and still nearly lost a house because of it, not because he made a mistake anyone would recognize as one, but because the system grading him was never measuring what he thought it was." Rewind 8 months, and Tyler Grant is standing in a kitchen that isn't his yet, holding his fiancée Maya's hand while a realtor talks about closing timelines neither of them is really listening to. 6 years in the Army taught Tyler exactly one hard rule about money, learned from watching a fellow soldier drown under credit card interest 2 bunks down, calls home getting shorter and angrier every month until the guy stopped taking them at all, never owe anybody anything you can't pay off that same week. Tyler paid cash for his truck, counted it out at the dealership like it was 1975. He paid off his own wedding ring, actual cash, before he ever put it in Maya's hand, walking out of the jewelry store lighter in the wallet and prouder than he'd been in months. He'd saved $40,000 for a down payment by living exactly the way his father always told him to, standing in a garage teaching 16-year-old Tyler how to change oil. "Debt is how they get you, son, so don't give them the chance." Maya used a credit card for everything, paid it in full every month, and never once thought twice about it. Tyler thought her way seemed needlessly risky, teased her about it gently more than once. That difference between them is the entire story. Here's what almost nobody explains to someone doing exactly what Tyler did. A credit score isn't a measurement of how responsible you are with money. It's a measurement of how much practice a lender has watching you handle debt and pay it back. No debt at all doesn't read as discipline to that system. It reads as nothing, a blank page nobody can score, no different, to a mortgage underwriter, than genuinely bad credit, sitting in the exact same cannot approve pile either way. Roughly 7 million American adults currently have no credit history whatsoever, and another 25 million have files too thin or too stale to produce a real score at all. Put together, that's more people than the entire population of Florida, all of them assuming, the way Tyler did, that staying out of debt was the same thing as staying safe. Tyler had spent 6 years building exactly that kind of blank page, one cash payment at a time, believing every single one of them was making him safer. Maya sensed something was off before Tyler said a word walking out of that office, his jaw doing the thing it did whenever he was trying not to show something. "What happened in there?" "They said I'm basically invisible," Tyler said, still staring at his own boots in the parking lot. 6 years of never missing a single payment, and it's like I don't exist to them. Ask yourself, honestly, would you have guessed that paying cash for everything could close a door instead of opening one? Almost nobody does, until they're standing exactly where Tyler was standing, in a parking lot, holding a folder full of proof that meant nothing to the one system that was ever going to ask. The house they'd already fallen in love with, a small 3-bedroom with a porch swing Maya had already mentally furnished, already picked curtains for in her head, went to another offer 4 days later. Tyler blamed himself for the entire drive home, replaying every cash payment like each one had been a small, specific mistake instead of the discipline he'd been proud of a week earlier. Maya didn't say anything the whole ride. She just held his hand on the console the way she had in that kitchen, tighter than usual. That night is the part of this story that actually matters more than the house. Maya suggested something simple, sitting across from him at their own kitchen table, add Tyler as an authorized user on her card, the fastest legitimate way to hand a thin file some real history to work with. Tyler said no before she'd even finished the sentence, sharper than he meant to. To him, that card wasn't a tool. It was the exact thing his father had warned him about his whole life. Sitting in that garage with the oil rag in his hands, and saying yes felt like admitting his father and 6 years of his own discipline had been wrong the entire time. They didn't speak about it again for 3 days. Maya didn't push, though Tyler could tell she wanted to. He sat with it alone, the same way he'd sat with plenty of hard calls overseas, except this one didn't have a clear right answer waiting at the end of it, just two versions of himself that couldn't both be true at once. The version that never owed anyone anything, the one his father raised. And the version that got to actually own a home with the woman he was about to marry. He said yes on the 4th day, and it felt less like surrender than he expected and more like updating an order that had simply gotten outdated. A credit counselor named Renata laid out the rest of the plan without a single lecture in it, spreading 3 simple steps across a single sheet of paper instead of a stack of forms she could tell Tyler already dreaded. The authorized user card, reporting 6 years of Maya's clean history onto Tyler's file overnight, backdated the moment the bureau processed it, a legal shortcut most people never hear about until it's almost too late to use it. A secured credit card of his own, $300 locked behind it as collateral, used for gas every month and paid off before the statement even closed, so the balance reported was never more than what he'd have paid cash for anyway. A rent reporting service that finally let 2 years of on-time payments Tyler had already made, quietly, invisibly, start counting for something on paper instead of just in his own head. None of it was glamorous. All of it was the opposite of invisible. You didn't do anything wrong for 6 years, Renata told him, when he admitted, a little sheepishly, how strange the whole plan felt, like he was somehow cheating a test he'd already studied hard for. You just did something the system has no way to see. This isn't about becoming a different kind of person. It's about letting the right people finally watch you be the same one you already were the whole time. 90 days later, Tyler had a real score for the first time in his adult life. Not a perfect one. A real one, finally something a lender could actually read, a number where 6 years earlier there had only been silence. They found a different house that spring, smaller than the one with the porch swing, better light in the kitchen, a yard Maya immediately started planning a garden for, already choosing where the tomatoes would go before they'd even made an offer. The same loan officer's office. A different answer this time, delivered by the same woman who'd said no 8 months earlier, who told them, almost as an aside, that she saw this exact story more often than people would ever guess. Good, careful people, invisible to a system that had no way of knowing they were careful at all. Tyler still doesn't carry a real balance on anything. He pays off both cards in full every single month, same discipline, same father's voice in his head reminding him not to let anyone get the better of him. What changed wasn't the discipline. It was understanding, finally, that the system was never grading whether he avoided debt. It was grading whether he'd ever been trusted with it and proven, on paper, that he'd handled it exactly the way he actually had, off paper, the entire time. He tells people now, when it comes up, that the house almost didn't happen not because he did something wrong, but because he did the one thing that looks like doing everything right, for 6 straight years, to a system built to reward something else entirely. His father still doesn't fully understand why Tyler carries 2 credit cards now. Tyler stopped trying to explain the mechanics of it and just tells him the balance never goes above what gas costs that month, which is true, and which is usually enough. So here's the question worth sitting with after this one ends. How many people do you know, right now, quietly proud of a habit that might be closing a door they don't even know exists yet?